Welcome to the Place to Be Free podcast. I'm your host, Martha Blessing. I'm an energy intuitive, healer, spiritual channel, and a healing mentor and guide. I'm driven by the purpose of illuminating the potential in others to live their personal power, well-being, and sovereignty by connecting them to the truth within themselves. To explore my work or connect with me, you can visit marthablessing.com. If you feel called to support the podcast, please leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. I so appreciate your presence here, and I'm honored to serve as a guide or companion on your path. Now, on to the episode. Welcome back to the podcast. Have you ever said to yourself, I'm so tired of having to be so strong? I know that I have said that many, many times, and I've said it when I am in a place of just feeling exhausted. I'm sharing today on the podcast what I hope will be a different perspective for you about having to be so strong, and hopefully a perspective that will create a sense of freedom and expansion for you to explore around the areas in your life that are creating stress and exhaustion. I was working with a client recently, and that's exactly what she said. And she has done really a tremendous amount of growth and inner work. She said this, I'm so tired of having to be strong. And my guides, Gracon, the guides that I channel, said, oh dear, you can let that go. You can put that down. You don't have to carry it. And the message that they gave is what I'm sharing with you. This person is an empath, is a sensitive soul, is a spiritual, highly spiritually tuned woman. And she has experienced a tremendous amount of loss in her life, more than the average person. I've experienced a lot of loss in my life, and I can say that she has probably had even more traumatic events around loss. So I get where she's coming from. But here's what they had to say. Here's what the guides had to say about letting this go. And they immediately came in and said, the only reason that you are tired and why you feel you have to be so strong is that you are trying to manage everybody else's life and feelings, and it's exhausting you. You're trying to control life in response to the triggers and the traumas that you've experienced. And it makes so much sense when we look at it this way. As empaths, as spiritually tuned individuals, if you are one, she and I both are. So we're having this conversation and this mentoring call, and she's focusing on a lot of family members that she has lost and family members who now currently have cancer. And she's focusing on the hardship and the problems of everyone else in the world. Now, I am not saying that we shouldn't have compassion and love for our loved ones and friends and family and people who are with this condition. And having been someone who was a cancer patient and have moved through that, I know what it's like. I don't know what their experience is like, but I do have some idea. You know, my cancer dance, as I call it, was one of the greatest teachers in my life. It helped me grow and evolve to a level that I never even imagined in my own ego mind. Now, granted, some people do die from cancer, but And actually, like to say they don't die from the cancer. Cancer won't kill you. It's the treatment that does. Many, many, many times. There are people like myself and hundreds of thousands of other people who have spontaneously healed cancer. You've heard me talk about it before if you've listened to the podcast. So she's focusing, and I don't want to make this about cancer. She's focusing on, as an empath, she feels all of this stuff. She's interpreting it to her own experience, and she's wanting to alleviate other people's pain and suffering. And she's wanting to, because she knows that there's other ways, she's wanting to help them, but they can't hear it. They can't see it. They can't hear it. They are entrenched in the Western model and paradigm of medicine. And so she's sad for herself that she's losing more people that she loves, and she's taking on their journey. We all always have this opportunity to make a different choice. So why she feels she's having to be so strong, there's that phrase from the Bible, I'm not my brother's keeper. She's being her sisters and her nieces and her cousins and her sisters. She's being everyone's keeper. But their journey is their journey. She wants to take away their pain. No one can take away our pain. We have to choose the expansion. We have to choose. And there's a couple of choices here that we really need to make. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. It doesn't mean, we can feel and send love and prayers, but ultimately it is not up to us to fix it or solve it, whatever someone's problem is. I struggled with this. It took me a lot of years to get over this, to let this identity and belief system and way of living and being, it took me many years to let go of it. I was a nurse. I've been in the healing arts for many, many years. And in my archetype, I am a solver. I see a problem and I want to fix it. Quite honestly, it's come back to bite me in the ass more than a few times. So here's the takeaway that I want to give you, the transformation takeaway about what is our circle of responsibility in life. Because this really, really helped me to let go of being the person that needed to take care of everyone and everything. Our circle of responsibility, you can stand and put your feet on the floor and draw a circle around your feet. That circle that you're standing in and the sphere and the aura and the field of energy around it, that is what we are responsible for. What's in that circle. We're responsible for our own well-being, our feelings, our emotions, our choices, and how we react and how we respond. And as much as we want to take away their pain, we can't take away their journey. No one could take away my cancer journey. I got what I got, and I spent hours in meditation, and I don't regret it because I changed as a soul and a human being, and my life improved because of it. What makes us tired and makes us feel like we can't be any stronger is that we are putting all of our energy circuits into trying to control life. That's really what it boils down to. We are exhausted because we feel our safety and security is being threatened. And quite honestly, it's all around us right now with the media and having come out of this pandemic. What was it about? It was about that we lost all sense of control. And so we are trying to control someone else's life and journey, trying to control the outcome of someone else's life. We cannot be successful at that. Like, it's not our job. I thought it was my job for years, right? I'm the healer, the nurse. And so what happens is, with this particular client, she's investing her energy in trying to help people get it, right? And I used to do the same thing. Like, how do they not see this? How do they not get it? That's not our purpose. That is not where we are meant to, as empaths, someone who's sensitive. Our purpose is to be the light at the level of consciousness that we are at. It's not to drop down and fix them where they are. It's for us to be the light at the level of consciousness that we are at and focus on our own evolution, on raising our own expansion and vibration and frequency, and allow whoever is ready to come up to that level. Allow them to come up and to resonate with it. But if someone doesn't resonate with it, it's not our job to over effort and overthink and exhaust and take on the fact that they are not ready or willing to grow and evolve. What we're really doing here, what's making us exhausted, is wanting to control and manipulate people and events to make things turn out a certain way so that we can feel good about it and we can feel good about life, rather than letting go and allowing that they are on their path and everything is and always has been and always will be fine. In the field of consciousness, in the one mind, that is the truth. So specifically, people are trying to avoid dying, right? And they think about how tragic life is nowadays. The media has us immersed in all of this tragedy constantly, being fed by it. But the truth is that we are all going to transition from our bodies at some point. We're not getting out alive. We are all going to go on to the next level of being, of our energy evolving to another state. And I've said it many times on the podcast, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change form. So when you understand that is the truth, and we are just energy and a soul, there really is no death. There's only a soul that chooses to move on from this body and this lifetime and this incarnation to its next evolution, to its next stage. And some souls may choose cancer. Like, it's not up to us what they choose. Some people will choose accidents. Some people will choose plane crashes. Like, we don't know. But because we fear for safety and security, we want to manipulate and control everything around us, and it's exhausting. This is the constant fight or flight stress response. Now, when we flip it, if you can see this and you can choose to recognize that each soul is having their own experience, then we ask different questions, or we take and make a different interpretation. And that is to have faith and trust in God and Source, to carry these individuals, to carry someone from one place to the next, from this life to the next evolution of their soul. We are so programmed, like nobody worries. I mean, we don't love that someone, my partner's mother is 93 years old and has end-stage cardiac disease, and she's approaching the end of her life. But we say, oh, she had a good life. She's 93, she's had a good life, right? So we expect it. But if it's someone who's younger, we've decided to make an interpretation in our mind that it happened too soon or too quick, or, we're trying to make it different. We're not just allowing that each person, each soul is having their journey and their experience. And it's not up to us. This is why we get so tired of being so strong, because we're taking on what isn't ours. We can be at peace and free ourselves from all the anxiety and worry and fear about how everyone else is living their lives. There's a great book by Elanya Van Zandt called Trust, and I will leave that in the show notes. Very, very good. It's about trusting God, trusting others, trusting ourselves. What's really going on when we are having to be so strong is that we are plugging all of our circuits of our being into not allowing life to be as it is, in fearing our own mortality in some cases, or really it's being in the fear and the safety and security, not allowing. And I do say a lot of that is because of the media. Don't turn on the TV, don't watch the news, because it's never anything good. So we're being programmed every day at every turn to be scared instead of to have trust in one mind. The universal laws, there is order in the universe. The Big Dipper, the North Star, in the same place every single night, same place in the sky. There is order. The tide goes in, the tide goes out. Like, you have to focus on the order and stop focusing on the disorder and the chaos, and reflecting it and injecting it back into your own experience. I hope this is making sense. I hope you can see where this idea of having to be strong, it's not ours to take on. We can let go and have complete faith and knowing in our embodiment of the one mind, the one heart, and focus on maintaining our frequency in light so that we elevate, and more people will come up to that alignment. When we hit the tipping point of living in the embodiment of our being and our light. As empaths, we did not come to feel the pain, we came to elevate. So your takeaway is, take a look at the places in your life where you might be feeling exhausted and you are trying to control an outcome that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Draw that circle around your feet and take a look at, what is my responsibility for myself and my life, and what is not my life? And start to let go. Start to catch yourself and bring awareness to the interpretations that you're making about other people's lives and how they are living them. And then you get to choose who you want to resonate with. Because as we've said, it's all about resonance and frequency, energy and vibration. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks for listening to the Place to Be Free podcast. And if you liked what you heard and you want to know more, go to marthablessing.com/free stuff.